Welcome to another episode of the Cynical Writer. How should books be adapted into movies? Now, this is a very complex question, and as an author, obviously I'm a bit biased in trying to answer it because obviously I want to see the author's vision reflected on screen, and so very often filmmakers have no regard for the author's vision. Very often they will try to do their own thing and they will completely discard the vision of the author, which is unfortunate because if a filmmaker is just going to do their own thing, then why even adapt the book to begin with? It really doesn't make any sense. Many filmmakers and directors will try to adapt the plots of many books, but they will often fail to adapt the imagery. And very often the imagery is the most important thing to writers. Many writers write because of the imagery that stories contain and not necessarily because of the plot. But many filmmakers don't seem to realize that. Many films, for example, don't contain facial expressions that are in books, and many films also don't adapt the imagery that goes on within characters' minds, because in books, stories can be told very psychologically. Often a character will see one thing, but they'll think another, and very often the images in their head are going to be very distinct from the images that are occurring in reality. But often films will not depict that. Films will often tell a very straightforward narrative without any nuance whatsoever. And I think that's unfortunate. And also books will often describe colors and different kinds of hues and things of that nature, and films often will not adapt those things. Older films, classic films, tended to adapt books better than most modern films, because classic films often used a contrast of light and shadow, and such things are often missing from modern films, because modern films for the most part only use very standardized type lighting, and that's unfortunate. So many films, they'll adapt the plots within books, but they won't adapt the imagery. And unless you get the imagery right, you're not going to get the plot right, because often the two things are very closely related. So I hope you enjoyed my speech for today. You can check out my books in the description section and maybe see some of my imagery for yourself. And until next time, goodbye.